Hi, Aaron here again. Welcome to the Regional Vic Masterclass series at Fed Square. I've got Roger here and we're going to be pairing the wine with these pizzas.
I'm Roger Blake. I'm the owner and general dog's body at everything we do at Blake Estate Winery and Vineyard. I've brought along some Pinot to match with the two pizzas that we have here today. The pizzas are very different in their flavours. The base is of course the same. You get the lovely bread brioche flavours coming through, but the Bingo Bango is a very challenging pizza to match to a wine, so I brought along a bigger Pinot. Our Reserve, which is a nice big more tannic, more acid, more mouth-filling Pinot. And to match the other one, the Buffalo Gary, I brought along a fruitier, a lighter style Pinot, which I think will complement very well the tomatoes, the basil, and the buffalo cheese. So it's a choice that you make. The Pinot is a very flexible wine, so it can be matched with all sorts of different foods.
Sounds perfect.
So will we try with the regular Pinot first?
Yeah, we'll start with the Buffalo. How long do you like to sell your wines for before you drink them?
Well, we deliberately don't release them until they're about 2 to 3 years old. And ideally, they will certainly keep from 5 to 10 years for drinking. A lot of people who buy our wines do like to put them down for a few years, but they're perfectly drinkable right now. This current release is 2018, and we never release it 1 year old, but 2 to 3 years they start to really open up and the flavours of the Pinot starts to come through. It's very interesting with the types of glasses that you have. A Pinot can taste quite different in a different sort of a glass.
Oh, really?
You can have, it's all about the nose in a Pinot. Pinot is a very flavoursome wine. It's got something like 200 flavour type compounds in it, whereas a typical Shiraz might only have 10 to 12. So it's got all of these different aromas, probably because it's a cool climate wine, and the type of glass opens up different sorts of flavours as you try it. So there's two aspects of matching a wine to the flavours. Firstly, there's the taste in a Pinot. We pick it typically about when it's about 13% sugar, and at that sugar content it's typically the grape juice at that stage. It's got a lot of cherry flavours coming through. Earlier we do make a sparkling, a champagne style. If we pick it a couple of weeks early, it's quite strongly strawberry. A week later it might go through a sort of raspberry flavour phase, and then finally when we're ready to pick, it's dominantly the cherry that we like. If you leave it a little bit later or too late, it starts to get quite plummy, and you get a little bit of those over plummy flavours which don't really suit Pinot. So it's quite critical. Probably the hardest job of the winemaker is to decide when to pick the grapes. So that's a pretty nervous time when you're going through vintage, but hopefully we can get it right. So,
cheers. Let's try it with this pizza.
We will.
Oh, that's nice.
It is good.
Always just fingers for pizzas, never cutlery.
Where's the buffalo cheese from?
Shore River.
Oh yeah, Northern Port Fairy, yeah.
Goes really nice on a pizza.
It's also interesting because the textural differences, for example, with the buffalo cheese, it suits the more fruity style of the Pinot.
Yeah.
Whereas, I guess when we get to the more spicy chili flavours,
yeah, the Bingo's got a lot of different flavours and strong.
A lot going on there. And I think the combination of the basil and the tomato, that also lifts and brings out the fruit flavours in the Pinot.
Certainly.
Well, I know this year with COVID-19, the biggest, most important impact it's had on us, we've had to close our cellar door, of course. So that's been shut for nearly 6 months now. But there's been another side to it where we've suddenly found that we're getting a lot more phone calls, a lot of online inquiries, and people are getting onto our wines that way. They're still supporting, we've found, not just me, but the other winemakers in the Barwon Downs, Deans Marsh area. So it's been a difficult, very difficult business-wise. The biggest impact I think we've had is also tourism. Of course, there are something like 200 cottages and so on in the Deans Marsh area, and of course they've all been empty as well. So people haven't been coming through, and that's impacted everybody's businesses dramatically, actually.
Yeah, it's been a pretty hard year here too. We've had to close the dine-in, but we've been lucky enough that pizza's a good family dinner, and we had an increase of takeaway orders, which is very helpful.
Yeah, no, it's a good go-to takeaway. I think it's a very close and quite eclectic community over at Deans Marsh. There's a lot of artists, musicians and so on. We miss not having our local venues open, like Martian's Cafe and so on, and the store. But very, very much they supporting the local businesses, the local restaurants and cafes. So there's a real sense of, I know people say that we're all in this together, but small local communities are much more so like that. They're very focused on each other.
Yeah, we've had good community support here in Lorne. All the locals have been really good.
Yeah, no, it's
which definitely helps a lot during these times.
Yeah.
So was 2018 a good year for you?
It was. Every year is different. We never blend between years, so every year is a different vintage.
Yeah.
2018 was a very good year for some reason. I think it was a longer, drier summer.
Yeah.
And we also had a nice dry autumn, which Pinot really, it gives it a slow ripening, and it gives a chance for the full flavours to really come out. If you get a slightly wet summer or a wet autumn when you're picking, it tends to, the grape quality falls off. It doesn't mean the grapes are no good, it just means that some seasons are definitely better than others.
Yeah.
So 17 was not a bad year, but not nearly as good as 18. This last year, 2020, our vintage picking was down about 30%. But the quality was just superb, so it's a trade-off between volume and quality, I suppose.
Yeah.
But no, the 2018 was a really good year. We've just released it, and everybody's had it, really likes it.
Do you have a favourite vintage?
Well, going back to the middle of the big droughts, the so-called Millennium Drought, 2005 and 2006 were very dry, warm years.
Yeah.
And they made some superb Pinots. I've still got a little bit of the 2006 left.
I should have bought a bottle down.
Well, next time. But no, that's a beautiful one. And it also shows that Pinot can age and hold its life very well. So that's 16 to now. That's 2006 to now. It's 14 years, going on 15 years. So yes, some of the French Pinots, they make them much bigger and much more tannic than we do here in Australia, and the tannin tends to increase the longevity of the keeping properties of the wine.
Yeah.
So they can keep Pinots for 20 plus years, but I typically recommend to people who want to cellar our wines anywhere between 5 and 12, 14 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And the character changes quite dramatically. They lose that intense fruitiness, but they gain those nice sort of rounded, more viniferous flavours that you get with an older Pinot. Well, thanks very much for joining us here at the Regional Vic Masterclass series at Fed Square. We certainly enjoyed it. We also like to thank MTSG. I think it's a wonderful promotional thing. I believe it's a non-profit, and I've been onto the website, and I would encourage everybody who's thinking about helping regional areas to go and look at some of their itineraries and look at areas that they can visit, which goes to help local businesses. You can help our local businesses here. We've got a website, blakesestate.com. You can either order wine directly, or you can ring us or email us and just call in at the cellar door when the restrictions are over. So there's lots of ways you can buy our wine, and please do.
Hope you enjoyed our pizzas, and I hope you can come support our business and pop into Pete's Pizza whenever you can. We're just down by the river in Lorne. Don't forget to check out bedsquare.com for more masterclasses.